Have you ever noticed that the more you desire something, the farther away it seems to slip? This is the paradox of desire. It's like trying to hold water in your hands. The tighter you squeeze, the faster it runs through your fingers. This idea isn't new. It appears in philosophy, spirituality, psychology, quantum physics, and even neuroscience. All of these fields seem to point in the same direction. When you cling to desire with anxiety, instead of attracting, you repel. The philosopher Alan Watts said that the intense desire for security paradoxically generates more insecurity. This happens because when you desire with the fear of not achieving, you're vibrating scarcity, not abundance. Psychology explains that the subconscious mind interprets this attachment as a constant reminder that something is missing. Carl Jung stated that what you resist persists, and it is precisely this inner resistance that blocks the natural flow of life. In positive psychology, there is the concept of the scarcity loop. When you tie your happiness to a single goal and act driven only by the fear of not achieving it, you enter a cycle of frustration that reinforces the feeling of emptiness even more. It's not the environment that's against you, but the way your mind interprets reality. Neuroscience shows us how this happens biologically. Our brain has a structure called the reticular activating system, responsible for filtering the information that reaches us. If you're obsessed with lack, your brain keeps showing you signs of absence, because that's what it believes is important. Moreover, when you desire something with anxiety, your amygdala triggers fight or flight responses, releasing cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones prepare the body to survive, not to create. In this stressed state, you lose access to the prefrontal cortex, which is the creative and expansive part of the mind. In other words, excessive desire traps you in survival mode. And in this state, you don't manifest abundance, only scarcity. Quantum physics also offers us a valuable perspective. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle reveals that the very act of observation alters the observed reality. This means the observer influences the outcome. If you observe life through the lens of lack, you collapse possibilities that confirm absence. Quantum physicist Amit Goswami explains that consciousness is the foundation of all existence. When you think and feel, you interact with the quantum field. But there's a crucial difference. If your thoughts are filled with anxiety, you send the universe a vibrational signature of lack. If they're filled with trust, you send a signature of wholeness. The universe doesn't respond to what you say you want, it responds to what you vibrate. Spiritual traditions have always known this. Buddha said, "Attachment is the root of suffering." Detachment doesn't mean abandoning your dreams. It means not being imprisoned by them, trusting that life has a natural flow. The Tao Te Ching teaches, when nothing is forced, nothing is left undone. This shows that there is an invisible order that reveals itself only when we stop fighting against it. Neville Goddard also reinforced this idea by teaching that true manifestation happens when you feel as if it is already real. Desire should not arise from anxiety, but from trust. It is not desperate wanting that creates, but the serene conviction that it is already done. When we unite psychology, neuroscience, quantum physics, and spirituality, we see the same pattern. Psychology shows that mental attachment creates resistance. Neuroscience reveals that anxiety activates survival circuits in the brain. Quantum physics proves that observation shapes reality. Spirituality teaches that detachment opens the way to universal flow. It's as if all these disciplines, from such different areas, point toward the same invisible law of existence. The more you cling, the more you push away. The more you trust, the more you allow things to happen. This doesn't mean abandoning your dreams, but changing your relationship with them. Instead of asking with desperation, feel gratitude as if you had already received. Instead of doubting, cultivate inner faith. Instead of acting out of fear of losing, act from the certainty that everything is aligning. Practices like meditation, creative visualization, heart coherence, and positive affirmations are not just mystical techniques, but real tools that train the body and mind to vibrate in a state of wholeness. When you enter coherence, your energetic field organizes itself. The HeartMath Institute has already demonstrated that the heart's frequency can synchronize the mind and create expanded states. In this state, you don't beg, you radiate. And as the poet Rumi said, what you seek is also seeking you. Psychology also points to the power of mindfulness. When you focus excessively on the future, your mind disconnects from the present, creating anxiety. The practice of mindfulness teaches that by fully living in the now, you open space for things to happen naturally. Desire stops being an obsession and becomes just a direction, without blocking the flow of life. From the standpoint of neuroscience, research in neuroplasticity shows that the brain rewires itself according to what you most think and feel. If your mind is stuck on, "I don't have it yet," you strengthen neural connections linked to scarcity. But when you cultivate positive mental images and elevated emotions, you create new neural pathways that support abundance. This proves that manifestation is not just a spiritual concept, but also neurological training. In quantum physics, there is a concept called superposition, which explains that all possibilities coexist until a choice is made. This means that at every moment, reality contains infinite versions of you, one that lives in lack and another that already has everything you desire. When you change your vibration, you are choosing to collapse the higher version of your future. This is the power of consciousness in action. In spirituality, the paradox of desire is often explained through the metaphor of the seed. When you plant a seed, you don't keep digging it up every day to see if it's growing. You trust the invisible process, water it, and let nature act. In the same way, desire must be planted with clarity and care, then released, allowing the universe to do its part. Finally, we can also look at the emotional aspect. Emotions like gratitude, joy, and love are considered, in many traditions, the highest frequencies a human being can radiate. When you desire from this state, you don't ask for what is missing, you celebrate what already is. And that celebration becomes a powerful magnet. After all, as Albert Einstein said, imagination is everything. It is the preview of life's coming attractions. When you imagine and feel with trust, you are already creating the reality you want to live. The paradox of desire, therefore, shows us that the secret is not to want harder, but to want with softness, trust, and certainty. It is to transform desire into a vibration of wholeness, not a prison of lack. After all, when you cling to desire, you transmit scarcity. When you trust, you allow it to flow. If this content brought you clarity, leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who also needs to understand this paradox. Remember, trust is the greatest form of power. When you let go, the universe begins to deliver.